Welcome everybody. Today we'll have a topic strategic implementation in today's video. So watch how strategy implementations have been done and what are the ways to go across with it. First and foremost thing, what is implementation? Before implementing, you need to follow or formulate a strategy. So yes, we need to understand what is strategy formulation and what is strategy implementation. These are two different things, but definitely intricately woven along with each other. Implementation strategy is as crucial as formulation. A well conceived strategy may falter without the effective implementation, which involves translating the strategy into actionable steps, mobilizing resources, structuring authority, establishing policies, and setting control mechanism right during the planning phase itself. You need to understand what is going to happen. So we can have a trend analysis, we can have an econometric model. We should also come up with scenario. What if scenarios happens? So, activating these strategies, institutionalizing strategies, it is right from the top. The leadership implementation takes place, and definitely once it is coming from the top, and it should follow the structures of the organization. Depending upon the structure, roles, what are the responsibilities that person has to execute. Operationalizing the strategies is how you communicate it, what needs to be done, what amount of filters or what amount of knowledge information has to be shared. Formulating the strategic business unit strategies, setting individual objective, if possible departmental objective, is possible functional objective, if possible SBU objective too, on an annual scale. Developing divisional strategies and policies thereby. And last but not the all, if it is only from institutionalizing strategies and operationalizing it, please understand you need to have a strict feedback and control mechanism to understand how effective your strategy is all about it. Is it there faltering during the evolution stages, or is it faltering during the implementation or execution stages? So measure performances, take corrective action. These are my components for strategic implementation. Differences, let us understand when we are planning it and when we are implementing it. What are the difference between it? Strategy formulation is mostly an intellectual process requiring conceptual integrity, analytical skill. It primarily is a corporate level activities involving few individuals and expert at it. Strategy implementation is operational, necessitating skills in managing and motivating people. It permits all levels of organization requiring coordination among many as on when on basis. So here it is an formulation is select few at the top management, but operational is everyone who is executing the plan formulated. So it permits to across the organization per se. Components. Strategy implementation includes activating the strategy, formulating the operational details, setting goals, allocating resources, establishing an evaluation control mechanism. It involves strategic structuring, leadership, policy formulation, resource allocation. Everything comes under implementation. It is not only this is an action that we need to follow. Who is going to do what? What about the resources that needs to be allocated? If the resources are there, if you don't give them weapons, how do you expect a person to go into a war and fight your war? So that is what we are looking into, is we need to have a good evaluation and control mechanism. We should be able to give each and everybody equipped with details as what to do if certain unwarranted situation arrives. So we are talking about leadership implementation, the steps, basically 6 steps: placing the right people in the right position, communicating the strategy, ensuring everyone understands the strategic direction, formulation of SBU strategies, aligning corporate strategies with SBU strategic business units, setting goals objective, defining, specifying, and measuring goals, developing functional strategies, crafting game plans for key support level at overall strategies thereby. Now, what are we looking out here? Then we have something called resource allocation, distributing the resource effectively and more importantly efficiently to support the strategic objective. Remember, resources might be required everywhere, but when you are doing it effectively, it becomes much more efficient. So the same resources, let's say, probably if we go talk about a printing machine, if printing has to be done by the finance department, but also by the marketing department and also by the operational department, what needs to be done? Can the printer be shared? Probably yes. Who have the access to the printer? How do we go across it? It's a very small example that I'm giving you as far as resource allocation is concerned. Instead of giving each individual department different printers altogether, we can have one conglomerate, one simple printer which can do multiple functions. So development of policies, establishing guidelines to direct actions towards goals achievement. We have organization structuring is what we are looking at, aligning the organization structures to the strategies, evaluating and control mechanism, monitoring progress and making adjustment as and when needed. Reward system is implementing and motivating and recognizing the superiority thereby. So, approaches. Allow me to give you the different approaches. Number one is the commander approach, is something called a top-down approach or the leader's approach altogether. So anything goes right, the leader has to take credit to it. Anything goes wrong, the leader should be held responsible for it. It's the commander approach, simple and straightforward. You are just executing whatever has been issued to you, whatever order has been issued to you. Organization change approach, emphasizing organization change for strategy implementation. Collaborative approach involves a various managers in strategy formulation and implementation. Cultural approach, shaping organizational culture to support the strategies implementation as on when on basis. Cohesive approach, empowering to be developed and implementing the strategy. What is cohesive approach is where you're basically asking the person, the frontline person, to take decision as on when on basis, because he or she is in the right moment, understanding the pulses of what exactly is happening in the environment and give appropriate reaction thereby. So yes, we have the commander approach, organizational change approach. We're talking about the collaborative approach, the cultural approach, and the creative approaches thereby. So the role of the managers or possibly the leaders, what are they in strategic management? They have different roles at different times. Once during the implementation time and completely different during a formulation time. Strategic leaders are responsible for setting the vision or rolling the ball, formulating and implementing strategies, ensuring alignments across the organization. They are visionaries, capable of anticipating future scenarios, crafting strategic positions for the organization as on when on basis. What are characteristics of strategic leaders? Proactive and knowledgeable with strong analytical skills, creative thinking skills. These are my strategic, these are the pinpointers towards a good, effective strategic leader. Proactive, knowledgeable, strong analytical and creative thinking skills. Ability to forecast future environment and set a vision for the organization, skilled in strategic formulations and ensuring effective implementation, capable of inspiring and motivating the organizations toward achieving a strategic objective as on when on basis, as simple as it can be. So, characteristics, strategic leadership is essential for steering the organization through the complexities of modern business environment, ensuring that strategies are not only well formulated but also effectively implemented as that what we are looking into it. So characteristic of strong leader, it is not only during the formulation but during execution time at times of crisis. They should come up with strategies which should be all weatherproof. So let me give you the dimensions. In terms of vision, the strategic leadership should create the vision thereby. The person who is interested in creating the vision, but the organization leader should always be looking for creating plan. In cases of direct leadership, the supervisors execute the plan. In terms of strategic leadership, the teamwork concept, putting the right structures, putting the right people at the right position. Organizational leadership is designing the interdependence as on one-on basis. And last, the direct relations leadership would be forging a teamwork. Values, in terms of strategic leadership, we are talking about cultural imperatives, cultural values, articulating them, installing them is what strategic leadership will be looking into it. Organizational leaders should be having an appropriate climate, whether within the system, within their department, and that leadership should be basically reinforcing, following the diktat as on when on basis. As well as strategic leadership on the forefront of information should have the complete base and information needed required for the execution. The organization leader should have the EIS or the requisite information that is required to execute, whereas direct leadership would be just applying the information thereby. So studying formulation, I'll give you the case studies. One of Apple company studying formulation and implemented formulation under Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple. Apple formulated a strategy focused on innovations, focused on design, focused on user experiences. The development of iPhone was a result of this strategic directions, aiming to revolutionize the smartphone market. Absolutely, yes. Before that, we have those analogs of button phones. Then we have the iMac, and things have changed. Implementing these strategies involves assembling a team of designers and engineers, allocating substantial resources to R&D, and creating a marketing campaign that highlights that iPhone unique features. Apple's effective implementation of strategies led to the iPhone becoming a market leader. It still is a market leader and have a significant gap as far as technological prowess is concerned. And that is what formulations of strategies. I'm giving an example of Apple per se. Allow me to give you another example of Starbucks. Now, Starbucks, what are we looking at? The organization change approach. Given I think, facing market situation and declining sale in the late 2000, 2007, 8, 9, to be very precise. Starbucks initiated a strategy to rejuvenate the brand as on when on basis. Not only rejuvenate the brand, but probably gave the customer a wonderful experience. Implementation. This involved closing and underperforming stores altogether. Why? Because underperforming stores are not only lowering the morale of the employees, but also the brand value, bringing the brand value down. Revamping the store design, expanding the product line, enhancing employee training to improve customer services. The organizational change approach requires Starbucks to realign its operation, its culture to implement the new strategies successfully. The turnaround led to a resurgence in the growth of strategic Starbucks, and profitability is all about it. Allow me to give you another example of Google. Now, this is where we are talking about the cultural approaches. Google's strategy is simple, all about innovations, all about fast delivery, speed, employee empowerment, decision making. The implementation, Google fosters a culture that encourages creativity and innovations among its employees, allowing it to implement its strategies effectively. This includes 20% of the time on projects that they are absolutely passionate about. The employee is passionate about certain projects where they can devote 20% of the time. And leading to successful projects like Gmail, like AdSense, where in this 20% of the time came up with such profitable avenues altogether for Google, wherein Google empowered their employees that 20% of the time you play with your own game plan, with your own situation which you are passionate about, and rest 80% of the time you will be devoted as being demarcated by the companies thereby. The last example is of Tesla, is Creative approach. The case study Creative approach focuses on accelerating the world's transition to a sustainable energy, and that is through EVs, electric vehicles, if I may say so. It is all about renewable energies. Implementation, Tesla empowers its engineers. It's designed to innovate on the battery technology, vehicle design, manufacturing process. This bottom-up approach has enabled Tesla to lead in the EV market, showcasing how empowering lower levels employee can drive strategy implementation and industry leaders thereby. And that is what we are looking forward to. The last example is of Nike, the collaborative approach. Nike's strategy to expand its digital presence and direct to consumer sale involved a collaborative approaches, bringing together teams from marketing, teams from sales and product development, and trying to understand the pulse of the customer. Implementation through collaborative workshop and cross-functional team, Nike developed and launched successfully apps and digital platform, enhancing the customer experiences, customer engagement, and probably catapulting their sales together. This approach ensured that the different things came around here, and that is what we are looking forward to time and again. With this, I come to an end of this presentation. Thank you for watching this video till the end.